Greetings and good morning. Yesterday was an interesting day for me. Two big things happened that rocked the noggin. First of all, we've been working with my main client who's based in Spain and trying to coordinate. They wanted to maybe do a all-company brainstorming session, and it sounded awesome. And conceptually, the idea of going to Barcelona is awesome. And then when travel plans start getting put together and start looking at your calendar, it got a little stressful. So my current work-related travel plans are: I leave for Vegas this afternoon till the end of the week, come back for a little less than a week, and then I fly to Barcelona for like a week and a half, straight to Miami for about a week, then back home, and then I've got like 3 weeks before Burning Man. So my summer suddenly turned into a lot of travel, which is, conceptually, intellectually awesome. Emotionally stressful. I have a lot of anxiety about it. I'm going to be some hotels, some guest rooms, and considering how fragile I've been and with new patterns and stuff, the idea of taking home out of the equation just stresses me out when I'm fragile. So I'll have to stay strong, or just crumble and cry in foreign places, which is okay too, I suppose. I'm getting all sorts of gifts from the universe in the form of challenges, I suppose. Thank you! Along those lines, the other thing that happened yesterday, I had my second session with my new therapist, who is a very loving and compassionate person. It's a little odd getting started in therapy because I don't fit into a lot of traditional molds, I think. So I think a lot of talk tracks or responses that would often, I think, are helpful to people don't apply to me as much. So there's sometimes when she's right on and I'm like, yeah, and then there's sometimes when I'm like, I feel like I know you're very enthusiastic about this helping me in this moment, but I need to clarify why that's not relevant to me. Like I started crying at one point, and she was like totally reinforcing me, going, "Oh, good, that's so good for you. Good job. You're great." And I'm like, I don't really feel like I have an issue around crying. That's if you've watched many of these videos, you know that that's not the case. But it's good, and one of the things that I've been working through is, one thing we're talking about is loneliness and relationships, and there's a lot of circumstances that I'm not going to really discuss publicly, but there are a lot of circumstances that another gift from the universe that have made casual dating, casual sex, really not an option for me right now, for all sorts of reasons. So this is a challenge because I have a lot of my identity tied up into being a sexual being. I've got a career, I've got a reputation, I've got clout, and it's very scary for me to kind of say, well, that's not going to be a part of who I am moving forward until I find somebody special. And I really don't know how to, start relationships when sexuality isn't a healthy part of it, I mean, her recommendation was 6 months, a 6-month relationship. And considering I don't have anyone even to consider, the idea of, and I don't meet that many new people, there's a good chance that, intimacy might not be a part of my life for a long time. One part of that is kind of a lot deeper is that I don't, the stuff that I've been doing online, it hasn't just been like sex, to me at least, it's been sex infused with spirituality, sex infused with love, sex infused with all these wonderful, beautiful things that I find important. And part of that is because I feel like that is an arena where I have qualifications to speak to, as far as sexuality and the internet and spirituality, those three things combined, I'm an authority. So if you take sex out, I'm a student. So it's a challenging thing for me to say, all right, I'm gonna step out of this place of comfort and security and even, a job and things, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet, but step out of this comfortable place and step into a place where I am an infant. I've got no business talking about spirituality on its own. I don't meditate. I haven't done the work. I haven't been sitting under a Bodhi tree or done yoga trainings or anything like that. I've read a few books. I've lived life, the best I could, but I am not qualified to speak to that. So, what do? I like to speak to people. I like to share my path. So, I don't know. It puts me it's a scary place for me. That's when I started crying, I think. So, I don't know. I mean, that's part of my big challenge now is, can I think long-term enough to go without pleasure for a long time, but whether it be sexual, whether it be feeling of confidence and security, and whether it be intoxicants, all these things, can I think long enough term and have faith that a long-term process of learning, growth, working through pain, working through fear will have a payoff that is greater than the day-by-day fun, the day-by-day pleasure. And I don't know if that's true or not. It's kind of like being less climax-focused and more cuddle-focused. Sound like a chick. I don't know. And speaking of the intoxicant stuff, I don't know. I mean, I got all this travel, and a lot of my travel job stuff is there's a lot of drinking and partying involved with these conferences. So I haven't decided yet if I will continue to be a professional drinker, which is how I don't drink that much, but I generally do drink at these conferences because it's kind of like what you do. It's how people network. So I don't know. I guess I'll let you know when I get back, and that's one of the reasons why I was never making any commitments, because circumstances will dictate, as do they always. I'm off to Vegas this afternoon. I hope you do well. I hope I avoid getting caught up in any sort of altercations with albino tigers or Cirque du Soleil ruffians, and I hope you do the same. You like my new hat?